back. Give me a second, so I have to shut this down. And let's get this party started. Welcome to my backyard. I gotta go order some coffee. Oh man, wife. All right, I'm gonna go inside and order some coffee. We are Bluetooth, so you guys are gonna walk with me, and we'll be right back to start today's classes. So get your drinks, get your coffee, your iced teas, whatever you guys like, and have something with sugar so you guys don't go below your sugar levels. I'm gonna have to use that pen, so I got. And have you some spring water. I'll be right back. Okay, don't miss me too much. Test everything that is freaking awesome. So, all right, I avoided doing this for some time, right? But it's okay because God has a plan, right? God has a cool and unique way of doing stuff. A part of me wants to leave this there, a part of me does not. Let me put this up here so if my sugar drops, I'll be able to jump on it. So this is twofold, right? As an artist, you have to have a digital, online representation of your brand. So for me, because I'm involved into a lot of cool little stuff, I have a lot of projects going. I was going to use two things that normally, let's say, the average person would not use, right? So there's a community online for some of my management staff, and engagement right now is probably more important than anything else. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna cut my nails so we can kill two birds with one stone, right? So just by me engaging and interacting with that community, answering all the questions and responses, not only from my team management, but the actual people that are part of the online team that we have. That would be equivalent to me giving you guys an interview because I'm going to be going into topics in relation to how the industry is and how things are moving. On top of that, there was a newsletter that was sent out to the entire music industry, and my only response, because there was an alert sent out for the team, my only response was, I'm the person responsible for everything that you guys are talking about. So, what better person to guide the leaders of the new school, which is you guys, right? The leaders of the new generation, on basically giving you guys a strategy to navigate through this system. So these words are very bold and powerful. They're extremely passionate, and this is something that's never been done before. Because of that, there's no blueprint, and anytime you're a maverick or a pioneer when you're the first, it's very controversial. Yes, it's shocking to the market once the product or service is released, right? So it's very, very shocking to 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 the consumers, but it can be controversial to the people in the industry. When you say, I have a design, this machine is called a Keurig. You're going to be able to put these K cups that we're going to also license, and we're going to make more money off the cups in the machine. But in the meantime, every other company is going to have to come to our system because this is the best system. It warms up just like a George Foreman grill, but instead of cooking your burgers, it makes you a cup of coffee or hot chocolate or even a soup. Some of those have soups. Thank you so much. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Oh, man. Thank you so much. God bless. Look at that. That's love right there. That's what I'm talking about, yo. God is amazing. See what I'm saying? Wow, that is amazing, yo. Praise the Lord. It's the little things in life, right? So, long story short, basically, um, that's like the breakdown of what I want to talk about. So, I'm gonna add that to the discussion that we're gonna have. So, it's gonna be a masterclass all the way around, but still, anything that you guys can use and learn from and use on your own, whatever you have going on, then peace and blessings be with you. So, how can I explain it to you? These concepts are important, and they're important for you to understand them individually and as a collective, because this is going to affect how you approach the industry and how you approach the business. For me, I've always been in the music business side and never been interested in the industry. The industry stuff for me is new. Although it's new and I'm still learning in the process, I have changed that industry because my approach came in through business. So let's look at some prime examples. All the leading pioneers, the leaders of the new school, basically did the same thing. From the Master P's to the Baby and Slim from Cash Money to the J Princes of the world, DNY from the Rough Riders. At one point, Cameron Jim Jones for the Diplomats, but really pioneers like Jay Z, Damon Dash, Kareem's Biggs Burke, um, they established these mega powerhouses, you know, of music. What other examples? People like the Rick Rubens with Russell Simmons, um, even people like Jimmy Iovine, producer Michael. These people come from a musical background themselves before they started these companies and became these huge successful hits. And it's funny now when you look back at the story of somebody like a Suge Knight or uh, let's say a Rockefeller, Rough Riders. Now that we understand the business more, we understand looking back in retrospective at some of the business decisions that they made because at the time none of this had been done. So I find myself in a similar situation. Now, I promised all of you I would document zero to a few $1 billion, right? This is part of it. Welcome to the movie of my life, right? So, this is a full production here. Everything you see here, this is all a prop. This is all a simulation, right? You can look at it from the filter or perspective that you favor the most. But I want to share with you guys a story. A few years ago, I in my enchantment with this investment firm, which is already mistake number one. There shouldn't be any emotions, right? I reach out to this company and I'm being introduced to the concept of what consultants are. So I want to share with you another wild card concept. As all of my students know, I have a background in many fields, including medicine. I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a lawyer, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I'm an artist, I'm a designer. I do a lot of cool stuff, right? There was a time when I was young where a really close friend of mine was very influenced by, the influence of his grandfather. And his grandfather used to say, based on the old world belief of our culture in the Caribbean, overseas, we're from the islands, right? That money is a third of life. Now, remember that the translation from Castellano to Spanish to, Creole to English, a lot gets lost in that process, right? So what he meant was in the order of sequence of events. So if you want to do something, you're going to need money, step one, step two, to be able to do it. That would be step three, right? So in that example, it's pretty much the same layout, right? So I give you that from a psychological standpoint to see if you guys kind of understand. Once you become an entrepreneur, you are taking your own destiny into your own hands. An entrepreneur is anti-system, believes in systems, will implement systems in their own investments, products, services, industries of trade, but they're anti-system. So who can make the best cheeseburger, right? Or who can make a better cheeseburger? Who can make a better uh, slice of pizza? Who can make a better shoe or sock or shirt, whatever it is, any product, right? So you assume the responsibility that your success is gauged or measured by your output. The name of the game is results. The name of the game is show and prove. The bigger business you do, the more you have to prove yourself, the harder you're going to have to work, and the luckier you're going to get. The payoff is that much bigger. But the hard work doesn't change. It doesn't matter if you're building a $500 million company or a $5 billion company. The hard work, anything above 5 to 55 million, you're going to be around the same amount of hard work to get it off the ground, especially when it's something new, something never been done, etc. So you assume the responsibility that there is no safety net. There's no 401k, there's no IRA, there's no stocks and bonds, there's no company shares, there's no, I have a paycheck every 2 weeks, where most people, sadly, can sell their dreams for the comfort zone and the stability of a payroll check every 2 weeks. Sometimes, in even worse cases, which turns out to be good for some people, but in worst cases, for a salary. An entrepreneur says, if I don't close X amount of deals, if I don't perform based on X amount of goals, right? Based on X amount of stipulations, elements, things that I have to be challenged and, challenges that I have to be faced with, I don't produce. And if I don't produce, my ship doesn't leave the port, meaning there's nothing that I can build with, a ship that's just stuck at bay, right? So they take full responsibility and they take the pride and they build the ego, the stability, the security to say, I know what I'm capable of doing. I know where I'm coming from. I know where I am and I know where I'm going. I know that 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4. I don't have to bet on the economy. I don't have to bet on circumstances. I don't have to bet on demographic. I don't have to bet on history or trajectory. I'm going to bet it all on me based on what I know, my background, my discipline, my training, my education, my hard work, my focus. I know I can make anything happen. I could run a lemonade stand as a Fortune 500 company with my eyes closed. You realize one of many things. For one, you realize that everything, once you get to a certain echelon, once you get to the highest that you can get by yourself, you're going to reach no man's land. What does that mean? It comes down to two factors: consultants and venture capital. I don't care what the industry of trade or product or service is. I don't care what the demographic is, if it's national, international, global, worldwide, whatever. And each acronym is a little bit different, even though, oh, if I'm international, I'm worldwide. No, if you're international, you're international. Worldwide means worldwide. International is within the confine of a set of states or parishes or boroughs or whatever. International can mean just one segment. Worldwide is world class. That standard is all over the place. That means you can have a product in Antarctica that's just as viable in Canada, as in Russia, as in the Middle East, as in Australia, Asia, the United States, the Caribbean, South America, Central America. You get what I'm saying? So it's a different context, right? Different connotation. And again, from a psychological point, the truth does not hurt. Accepting the truth does. So you have to accept the truth. Consultants are all the network systems or the cultivation of networking systems. That's where your consultants come from. You're not paying them for what they know. I mean, you're not paying them for what they do. You're paying them for what they know. The relationships, the connections that they built over the years, their losses, their gains, they pretty much found a nice medium sweet spot and decided, okay, I'm going to teach people what I'm doing, but I'm going to charge a fee because, like every business, I am entitled to make a profit. And even that can be political. Some entrepreneurs don't understand the concept that, yo, this is a business and we're here to run a business, right? This is a franchise. This is a company. This is a brand. We're building something from nothing. We're pulling something from the ether of the energy fields of the universe, but also from the ether of our thoughts, our hearts, our emotions, and our desires. We're passionate about making a better cup of coffee. We're passionate about releasing a premium quality product at an affordable price. We're trying to make sure that any product or service that we make performs as it should. There's systems in place, even if you politically disagree with the systems, even if you uh, psychologically don't understand, it is what it is. I can give you multiple examples. How many products or services, industries or trades can we cover right here? Mind you, I own a technology company. So imagine me trying to preach the gospel to the choir. Everybody uses technology every day, but do most people understand technology? Absolutely not. There's a popular term in the Air Force and the Space Force. Most people think, oh, you're part of 3%. Oh, you're part of 3%. 3% of the world. Wow, 100 billion people on Earth. You're 3% of that. No, it's 1.3%. That 1.3% that is enlightened, that has the discipline, that has the money invested, the wins and the losses, the trials and the tribulations in whatever industry or trade, they're going to give you specified knowledge. They're going to be able to tell you, listen, the way to design a better coffee cup is to use this material, these colors, this texture, this font. Under these circumstances, it takes 300 pounds of pressure to make this lid. I need you to give me $1 million for what I just told you. Some people are political. They're like, why should I give you $1 million? You told me that in 3 minutes. Because it took 34 years for me to be able to tell you this. It took 34 years of trial and error, the 10,000 no's that Colonel Sanders got for Kentucky Fried Chicken, for me to be able to tell you, all you need to do is change the font and put it in Sanskrit so it looks different from every other franchise. Only a shift in perspective could have taught Steve Jobs to go to Xerox and look at their fonts and say, yo, this is the future. This is what computers need to look like. I need to have Sanskrit on my text. But wait a minute, if I could do Sanskrit, I can do Times New Roman, or I could do Classic American, or I could make it look like the Transformers logo. It doesn't matter. I want it to look like the Star Wars graphic, the way that they spell out the Star Wars and what the rules are. Now he's implementing this in all of your digital portable platforms. You guys called it a smartphone. Back in the days, it was beepers and pagers and two ways and all kinds of stuff. This generation will never know what it is like to have a cell phone with buttons on it. That is something that our generation still thinks like, okay, everybody knows televisions were black and white and they had the click down, click, 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 click. This generation reads about that in a history book. So before going too far off topic, which is cool, it's creative space. You can go as far as you want to go mentally, or you could remain right here. If this is your comfort zone, stay right here. But we like to go all over the universe through time, existence, everything. There's no barriers, there's no boundaries, right? So as an entrepreneur, part of your journey is you're gonna have to accept those truths, those two truths. The people that are the consultants have already all the years of experience. And venture capital means a person or a group of people or a financial institution that has decided to put away their political views of the economy, the system, and other financial institutions. Meaning, we're not going to take our $25 million and put it in the bank and get 1.9%. We're going to go get 35%, 40% from these entrepreneurs that need somebody to help them. Why? Because there's a guy named Earl Schwartz that has this idea about a coffee company. He's from Seattle. What's the name of the company? Starbucks. Yeah, he might need a little something, something to buy equipment and build the brick and mortar locations and have the proof of concept so that now, once we perfect this formula, we're going to multiply it. And boom, Starbucks starts growing from Seattle, the coffee company, tri-state area, one section of the nation, East Coast, Midwest, West Coast. Now let's all combine it. But let's do a combination. We'll have some privately owned stores and we'll have some corporate owned stores. And we're not going to be limited to the United States. Let's go to Canada. Let's go to Russia. Let's go to the Middle East. Let's go to Central America. Let's go to Asia. Let's go to all these crevices of the world and let's show them that we know a thing or two about coffee. Oh, but you guys are not from Italy. But you guys are not from Germany. But you guys are not from France. What do you guys know about delicacies when it comes to breakfast? Well, we have a better system. They can go outsource the beans from Central America, any of these remote parts of the world, and bring unique blends and have people that are stationary managers through different districts. And they have people that actually taste the beans and say, okay, for this region, we're going to release this coffee grind blend or whatever this promotional product is. And we're going to secure the quality and the consistency. What is that person's job worth when the company is a multi-billion-dollar company? But if that person doesn't do this, give me 1 second. Temperature's good, the body is good, the beans are fresh. How much is that worth? Should they make $1 million a year or $5 million a year? I'm going to lean towards the Jim Rohn approach, to be the higher frequency, higher thinking person. I'm going to pay this person $5 million to make sure that they don't leave me. I know they'll do it for $1 million, but I'm going to pay them 5 so they never leave me. What about the people? Again, I'm invested into these businesses. My family comes from a long line of these type of investments. What about the person that tastes the wine and the liquor and the spirits for all these multi-deca billion-dollar companies? How much is their job worth to be the person that tastes that liquor, that vodka, that rum, that whatever, to maintain that consistency? What is it worth to the company that the operator running the machines, fermenting whatever you're using to make the alcohol, how much is that worth? What do we need to invest in to make sure that it's consistent in Asia, in Africa, in the Middle East, in Canada, in Central America, South America, in the Caribbean, in the United States? This is where your consultants come in. They're the experts. Yeah, you can clone many things, you can copy many things, but it's not the same as the essence. So I can tell you, okay, McDonald's uses these ice cream machines. They use these burger machines. They use these fryers. But if you don't have the system, it's like having a Lamborghini and no driver's license, or having a Lamborghini that is not paddle shifters, which can be turned on to manual or automatic. It's just manual. How do you express that or explain that to a person that's never driven a car with gears that you have to change and shift yourself? How do you do that in a time frame where they could learn and get the most value the quickest way? Because people don't have time to go to Skip Barber racing school, as well as many others. They don't have the capital to invest to go be there 7, 8 months to become a professional driver. Somebody needs results. They need it right now. It's about this right now. Okay, let's cut all these corners. Let's not waste $500,000 on research and development. We have an institution that already has done the research for us, and they only charge 100,000. These experts already went past that, and they said, okay, I know my industry and I know my trade. I have the education, the background, the discipline. I know everything about this trade. So I'm going to simplify for you. I put it in a program. This is what it is. This is the price. They understood that to get to where they are, they had to go through consultants. Now they become consultants themselves because they've built their repertoire of experience. So politically, they disengage from the situation and become neutral and say, you know what? I'm just going to provide you this value. This is the price for it. Whatever you decide to do with that is your choice. You either engage or you disengage. You either listen to the advice or you don't. You either read the books or you don't. You either take the business class or you don't. You either associate yourself with people that are like-minded individuals that want to build the future, that want to build the franchise, that want to build a product or service, that want to penetrate an industry or trade, or you're wasting your time. You're spinning your tires in the mud. Number two, valuable lesson number two for business. What's the next echelon? Wait a minute. I can save up a few 100,000, but I don't have access to a few $1,000,000. I'm going to have to swallow my pride and ego and go get venture capital. But who are these venture capital firms? Investment firms, angel investors, private investors, family office investors, which we'll talk about in a second. These are people that politically disconnected from the system. They're not complaining that they work hard and they became successful and they put away this trust fund. And when they bring it to Goldman Sachs or when they bring it to this investment firm, they're only getting 1.9%. They said, okay, we're going to take off the guardrails, we're going to take off the training wheels, and we're going to go off into our own. We're going to take these $50 million, this $100 million, this $500 million, and we're going to invest it because instead of getting 1.9% or even 10%, which used to be industry standard 20, 30, 40 years ago, we're going to get 30%. We're going to get 40%. So we don't need to have a $100 million deal. If I'm getting 40% on a $25 million deal, which is worth more? $100 million deal at 10%, that's $10 million. $25 million deal at 40% already beats that. $50 million deal at 45% already beats that. You understand where I'm going with this? If you guys understand where I'm going with this, please raise your hand and say aye. Thank you very much. So, again, from the financial institutions to the consultants, all of them had to accept the reality. This is not about how I want to see things. This is not about how you want to see things. This is about the way that things are. This is a bottle of water. This is a ballpoint pen. This is a wireless platform mouse to use and control your computer. This is a lollipop. This is a keyboard. These are nail clippers. And this is a cup of coffee. I don't need to argue about that. Whether I like the color or the composure or the packaging or the marketing or the story that was told behind it, all those things have nothing to do with the fact that this is a cup of coffee and this is about 2.5 cups of water, which you should drink a gallon a day. The investors disconnected from the banking and financial institutions chose to block out anything that's happening on earth as far as the economy, this, that, and the third, and chose to focus on the fact that I'm not going to take 1.9% or 10% or even 20% from any financial institution. I'm going to take this trust fund, this, you know, amount of cash, and we're going to invest it to new entrepreneurs that need unconventional financing. Unconventional means it could be a proof of concept location. Unconventional can mean um, before the pre-seed round, during the pre-seed round, before revenue. These are all strict guidelines that regular financial institutions have in place. But if I own an investment firm, I get to make that decision. Investment firms are most of the time started by private venture capital people that are angel investors that already have so many angel investments going that they realize the power of leverage. Okay, so I have 25 investments that are $25 million, but because I have all this cash flow, now I can have shared financials. Let me go back to the banks that I don't trust leaving my money in a trust fund with them. I don't trust leaving the money in a savings account with them. I trust myself and what I know to take that money and multiply it, have that money work for me instead of me working for that money. But wait, there's more. Now that I have a cash flow of 25 investments worth $25 million, valued at whatever, $500 million, to give you a low ball example. Can I borrow $5 billion from that same bank that I don't trust? But I can trust in their greed that the only reason why they're giving me 1% or 1.9% or 10% or 19% is because they're charging somebody else 40%. So why don't I just get 35% myself? Let me use some of that money. Let me pay you 15% and let me keep 20% of your money that I'm just repurposing and reinvesting. I'm taking all the liability. If anything goes wrong, I'm responsible for it. My investments are liable to be repossessed by the bank. All my liquid assets could be liquefied like this if I make a wrong move. But remember, as an entrepreneur, I've disconnected from the system. So now a collective of angel investors that have reached the same plateau all agree, yo, we have 25 businesses here, we have 50 businesses here, we have 100 businesses here, we have 10 businesses here. Let's put them together. All this is worth X amount. We'll make a pie chart, right? For my graphic design students, we'll make a pie chart. Now let's take a percentage of that, diversify it into the market. Even though we're neutral to the politics and the bullshit of the market, let's just get that 10% as a safety. Now let's continue to diversify and invest this money. Now this angel investor becomes an angel investment firm. That angel investment firm becomes a venture capital firm. Then it becomes a private venture capital firm. Then it becomes a private venture capital firm. This is how it's done, whether it's directly or indirectly, whether they did it with their friends, family, members, and peers, and friends that they had directly, or the relatives, family members, and peers and colleagues of their business partners, or family members, or friends, and peers and colleagues. So now everything changes. So the rules may change a little bit. This is why Shark Tank is so popular. What do you think is happening? They're making money promoting and marketing their businesses, shooting it straight to America, straight to the whole world, while investing their own money. That's their own money they're investing. NBC is not giving them a budget. MSNBC is not giving them a budget. MSNBC2 is not giving them a budget. Kevin O'Leary is spending his money. Mark Cuban is spending his money. Barbara Cochran is spending her money. Uh, all those people there, they're spending their own money. Direct to consumer marketing. We are the people that developed the cup of coffee from Seattle. But guess what? You can have a cup of coffee from Seattle in Russia, in Antarctica. You understand? You could go to the North Pole. To that Starbucks is going to be the same tall blonde roast that I ordered today. Let's take a break. All these collectives, the entrepreneurs, the visionary, passionate, the few, the proud, right? The consultants have all the experience. They went through the bumps and bruises. They fell off the bicycle, scraped their knees, fell off the bicycle, scraped their knees, fell off the bicycle, scraped their knees. Damn, let me not go down the street anymore. Let me not rely on these brakes. Let me not rely on this transmission. Let me zigzag where I can in business and life, etc. Then you have the venture capital firm. They don't want to invest into this, but they want to invest into that. That whatever you want to put in that box is the new industry, the new wave, the new technology, the new whatever. How many of them are not willing and waiting and able to put the money up, but they're looking for the entrepreneurs that understand technology, that understand, let's say it's real estate, let's say it's clothing, let's say it's apparel, let's say it's electronics. There's so many different avenues, but everybody has to agree on those things. It's not about how I want to see things. It's not about how you want to see things. Ray Dalio, the book Principles, live by it. How can we create an environment where the best ideas win, where the best suggestions win? You know how you do it? You give everybody one vote, but you value that vote as if it's 20 million votes. So every person from entry level to management to in between knows that that vote counts and it can make the difference. I'll give you another wild card example, made very famous and popular by Mr. Anthony Robbins himself, one of my newest business partners. Shout out to you, Mr. Tony Robbins. I always called myself the Spanish speaking Tony Robbins. If I can't help you, you cannot be helped. Everything in life is about small incremental changes. Life requires you to have a certain amount of growth over a certain amount of time, even if it's a small growth. So the world's most elite plastic surgeon can make somebody that is unappealing at all absolutely drop dead gorgeous by making small increments. When you are in a golf course and you're teeing off, 1 inch over here, you're in the dirt. 1 inch over here, you're in the water. 1 inch over here, you're in the bushes, you're in the jungles. 1 inch over here, it's a birdie hole in one. Perfect shot. This surgeon figured out that the distance between your bottom lip and your chin, about an inch, that's perfect beauty. The distance between your upper lip and your nose, 1 inch, that's perfect beauty. An inch over here, this is how these measurements that this surgeon figured out is what everybody is copying right now. Off subject, you know I'm a doctor. Look how many women mostly are getting the same plastic surgery and they're all having the same bodies. If you pay attention close enough, at least for me, from a medical standpoint, I could tell you what year a person has had surgery based on the shape, the silhouette, how they compose whatever they reconstruct in their body. And it's all these small incremental changes. So all these people agree. It's not about how you want to see things, how I want to see things. Let's see things for what it is. Can we make a better cup of coffee? Absolutely. Not only the cup of coffee itself, the physical packaging, marketing of the cup of coffee, but can we make sure we secure the best bean to give you that experience? Do we need to travel all over the world? Yes, we're willing to do that. Do we need to walk through the jungles and say, okay, we're gonna buy 5 million pounds of this coffee? Because those people that get paid the $1 million to go taste the liquor and the coffee and whatever it is, they're gonna go on that journey and say, this tree, this bean, this collective, this trait. Shout out to George Washington Carver. This trait of this seed produces this bean, and this bean is our blonde roast. Or this collective of beans gives us our blonde roast. Yeah, you could buy blonde roast anywhere else, but it's not going to be like ours. And that's the point. It has our signature. Our investment firm only invests in real estate. Our investment firm only invests in technology. Our investment firm only invests in educational stuff. Our investment firm only invests in wildlife, and marine biology. Our investment firm only does this. Now you have a pool of competitors, all this venture capital money. How do you approach it? You could go to downtown in any city in America or anywhere on earth. Any downtown has a metropolis. And you know where the investment firms are, and you know where the banking firms and institutions are. How do you approach them? Do you send an email? Do you make a phone call? Do you send a text? Do you have a pitch deck? Do you have a business plan? Do you have a proposal? Do you invite them to go drink some Starbucks? Do you take them to the Olive Garden? Do you go play golf with them, or do you invite their family on a vacation? Do you go to Africa with them and go hunting bisons with brand new spears made by some cool company that does, has whatever features? You never know. Every approach is different. But we all agree on the same things, whether it's the consultants, the entrepreneurs, or the financial firms, whatever they are, conventional, non conventional, traditional, non traditional, complex, contemporary, doesn't matter. We all agree on that. A lot of entrepreneurs are not willing to pay the price to go get the book and go get the training and go to the conventions and go to the galas and go to the gatherings. Yet they want to be successful, but they're not nurturing themselves in their industry and their trade based on their product and services, their demographic, and what they're trying to accomplish. The truth of the matter is that this is how it is. So I'm enchanted by this investment firm. I'm enamored by this investment firm. They court me out, they take me out to eat, they buy me things, they shower me with gifts, everything. I go have a business meeting and I don't like the terms. In fact, I'm offended by the terms. As part of the negotiation, I'm adding things that maybe I normally wouldn't have included. I am a pupil of Marcus Lemonis. My first deal is always the best. If you don't take that initial deal, I feel bad for you because I'm very consistent. I storm out of the meeting. Mind you, it was a process of a few months and several meetings. Furious. Furious. Like, I blew every fuse in every circuit of my brain. I recorded it, blasted it out to the meeting. As painful as it was, and as much of a setback as it still is, it was an amazing learning experience. I just gave you $1 billion worth of game. If you're smart enough to pick up the jewels that I'm giving you, if you take 1% of what I'm telling you, you're going to be a deca millionaire. And I give you a few months, 24, 36, 48 months. One moment could change your life or it could stay the same. My friend that was influenced by his grandfather that assumed that money was a third of life, that life was divided into three steps, is no different from making that comment in that statement. One moment can change your life or it could stay the same. The choice is yours. Entrepreneurs, ideas, innovative ideas, etc. Consultants, they have the connections, they know how to do it, they know how to make a better cup, they know how to make a better cup of coffee, they know how to market it, package it, whatever, and venture capital. When this letter is put out and pretty much sent out to the whole industry, what do I have the urge to do? I want to go live. I want to just pour my heart, soul, and being, my essence, to speak on these concepts, to speak on these topics. I'm the guy that changed the industry. I changed the laws. I changed the rules. I brought the technology. It is me. It's not the people they've been putting in your face. Let me show you. A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. Unlike before, I took my time before preparing any type of response or reflection or reaction. As a public figure and as an artist, a worldwide phenomenon, I have a team that can best represent me and speak for me in a lot of these concepts in a way where people won't get rubbed off the wrong way. It doesn't come across as negative or impulsive or as a discharge. Because at the end of the day, I am only here to do business. If you are not here to do business, you are wasting your time because I'm always going to be here to do business. I am who I say I am. Most people are not, and most people can't handle that. But I don't have time to waste with people's shenanigans. because the people that are my mentors and my leaders and my teachers are very, very hard to impress. I can't bring $100 million deal and impress these people. I remember when I couldn't bring them a $50 million deal. I remember when I couldn't bring them a $25 million deal. They would laugh. That's all you could do? A few shopping centers? That's it? You work so hard for this? There's a lady that's part of one of my investments. It took her almost 5 months to close a client, right? We sold a $14 million car because of this lady. It took her 5 months. 5 months, no paycheck, no income, living off the credit cards, paying the bare minimum. What do you think was her commission on $14 million? Just take a guess. Let's say it was 5%. 10% is $1.4 million. 5%, this lady made almost $800,000 in 5 months. As a matter of fact, I entrusted her with two other cars that were, one was like 1.7 million, the other one was like 1.3, another $3 million. What's 5% of that? She made another 150,000 2 weeks later. We're doing showcases for our inventory for the company. She's already been on three major cars, which are personal cars. These are my personal cars. Who do I trust? The one person that didn't complain, that didn't aggravate everybody else, that understood that it didn't matter if the economy was up or down. It didn't matter what the industry or trade was. What mattered was her consistency. She betted on herself and said, you know what? I'll take that deal. Nobody wants it. Nobody can close it. I got this. I don't know how many golf games she played with this family. I don't know how many dinners she had. I don't know how many birthday parties and bar mitzvahs she went to. I don't know how many vacations she went on with these people. But all I can tell you is that she sold a $14 million car. We have the regular version. That's not the racing version of this car. It's a very rare car. $6.8 million on one of her biggest deals. Her first deal this side is like selling two of those cars, and it's very simple. It's like me selling you a dozen $500,000 Lamborghinis. Is it the same as selling one Lamborghini that's $5-6 million? Absolutely not. That $5-6-7 million client is not going to fill out a credit application. They're going to present you financial statements, profit and loss ratio statements from their investments. They're going to bring you a portfolio. They're going to bring you a portfolio manager. When they make a signature, it's 12 people that need to sign. How do you even propose to those clients, would you like to use this pen? Or would you like to type it? I want you to think about that for a minute. How do you start a conversation with a group of people or a person that has this power to get 12 signatures and cut you a check for $14 million and walk away like nothing happened? Oh, what a beautiful day. It's sunny today. Wow. We should go get some coffee. You just bought a $14 million car from me. You're inviting me to go drink a cup of coffee. Wow. How great and marvelous is that? Could you live that life one day? Could that be you? Could you go spend $14 million on a sports car and then go drink a $3 cup of coffee? I can. The earth is going to continue to spin. The ozone layer is going to continue to be there. Politics are going to do what they do. I only listen to the financial news. If it doesn't have to do with finances or technology, I'm not interested. And I'll do my best not to even entertain it. But I was furious. And I was so mad. And the more research I did, the more I had to face the truth and the reality, the more I had to understand. I get it. Impressing these people is not easy. But once you have one of these giants on your corner, which I happen to have about a dozen, and guess what? I need more. I didn't even know there were more giants on Earth. You start to realize, and I'm going to share with you the concept that my mentors have shared with me. In my team, I have probably close to a dozen billionaires, either directly or indirectly. Indirectly means it could be one of their family members or friends or colleagues or peers. Directly means in my inner circle, probably four or five of them. You know what they've all agreed? Listen, we're the biggest guys on this table, in this chair, in this room, in this environment. But over there, there's the land of not the giants, that's the land of the dinosaurs. And this investment, and hopefully you can build an investment that's that good. This investment is so good, we're going to go over there. And we're not going to walk amongst the giants, we're going to walk amongst the dinosaurs. Now psychology comes right back in because some of the people in our culture, they don't feel worthy. They don't feel cool to say, I want to pursue something so big. Because the social political pressures of our culture says, stay in your comfort zone. Take that, Fortune 500 corporate job and stay right there in that box. And everything you do stems from that box, comes from that box, but it's always going to be in that box. Very few are Steve Jobs or even a Bill Gates or Ray Dalio or Warren Buffett and say, no, we're not going to settle for this little box, this little Pandora's box. We're going to go over there to the line of the dinosaurs. And we'll walk amongst giants as long as we have to. But we know that the goal is to get to the land of the dinosaurs. When this letter is put out, you have to understand this is coming from a person that I didn't even give this person a choice to hire them. I knew what I had to do on my end to offer this person a legacy position where I would make sure that that person never leaves my side. Because the value that this person brings to my life and to my career for my future is priceless. I could walk away from this person and be forever grateful and indebted in gratitude for the rest of my life. When you find people like that, let me share with you. As a Jewish man of faith, it can only come from God. Only God will put people like that in your life. What you do with that is up to you. One moment could change your life or it could stay the same. The choice is yours. I'd rather lose fighting my 12 rounds of professional boxing than lose and succumb to the guilt and the feeling of never have even tried to get into the boxing ring. Never have tried to do weight training, never have tried to put the gloves on, never have tried to get into the stadium. Not even in the chilling circuit, not even in amateur boxing matches. What kind of boxer are you? Some people are afraid to put the gloves on. Some people are afraid to read a book. Some people are afraid to take a class or a course or go to a convention. Life is what you make it. I could go to any business convention and probably feel in the back of my mind, I'm getting 98% garbage. But I'm willing to go there for that 2%. At the same time, I'm in full control. I can go to that business conference and take everything I need to be successful or to grow to the next level based on my industry, my trade, my product, my service, my circumstances, my franchise, my brand, whatever it is that I'm building. But I still understand the value of being around like-minded individuals. That you don't have to force anything. You don't have to force a triangle into a square peg. Either people get it or they don't. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a dreamer, if you're a visionary, if you can see the future, if you can time travel to the future, you don't need to force people around you to time travel to the future. They're going to want to come to the future. And those that don't want to come, there's no worry. They're making more space for the people that do want to come. All the people in my team, I cherry picked them over the years. So this letter is sent by this dinosaur, this juggernaut of music, to another titan. The person on my team is a titan in music. As a good business partner, I have to consider all of my business partners. Before I make a public announcement or public statement, before I know all the facts and data points and jump to any conclusion, I have to make sure that I have a filter to be careful with the words that I'm selecting so nobody gets offended, nobody feels left out, because every person in my company, their vote counts. Every vote matters. That one vote is the one change to make somebody from unappealing to drop dead gorgeous. That little shift in perspective or business strategy or approach or technique or execution is the difference between a $5 million company and a $5 billion company. Everybody was amazed when Apple reached $2, $3 trillion. Nvidia is 5 and growing. 5 trillion and going. It's still, you don't know how far it's going to go. Guess who's one of my business partners? Jensen Huang. Let's talk Nvidia. But I also have Huawei, and I also have Xiaomi, and Apple and Samsung will keep going and going and going and going. Because I never chose to look in the confines of a box. I'm not just a rapper, I sing. I'm not just a singer, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not just an engineer, I'm a doctor. I'm not just a doctor, I'm a lawyer. I'm not just a lawyer, I'm a designer. I'm not just a designer, I'm an engineer. I can put it all together. Expert in technology. I work directly with BlackRock and Blackstone. That relationship, very long, very hard to come by. You know how many entrepreneurs I've worked with? You know how many millionaires I've made in the process? And they all faded away, all fizzled away, all fizzled out. Now is the what if. Man, what if I would have stayed? What if I would have done this differently? What if I would have said this differently? What if I would have went to the golf game? What if I would have went on that vacation? What if I would have went to that bar mitzvah, that birthday party, or that sweet 16 or that quinceañera? What if I would have been at the business convention? What if I would have read the book? What if I took the course? What if I graduated? What if I couldn't pay for the tuition, but I paid for it myself by educating myself? What if, what if, what if, what if? After all these years, just in my music career, 34 years, 10,000 songs. You know how many artists I've seen come and go in the last 34 years? My own family members, peers, friends, colleagues, people I grew up with, people from my demographic, people from where I'm from, people from the Bronx, people from New York, people from all over the world. They wish they had 100 songs. Some wish they had one album. Most have none. That's not my fault. Now, taking that into consideration, everybody's experiences are different. So what I may bring to the table, you may bring in a different way your own remix version. So I got my own gumbo. You have your own gumbo. I have my own etouffee. You got your own etouffee. You got what I'm saying? So now I got to be careful. I know that I'm the person that set this chain reaction of events that you guys are living now. Imagine me talking about this technology 7 years ago, or 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. How would I expect the average person to understand? Nobody believed in this technology. It's like Bitcoin. How many people didn't buy pizza with their Bitcoins? I know I did. Wish you would have held on, right? Now what? How do you proceed? How do you move forward? I cannot go to the public and express all of these things from an artist standpoint. Now I got to be a lawyer. Now I got to be a doctor. Now I got to be an engineer. But I also have to be an entrepreneur. But I'm also a God fearing man. I can't just do business with anybody. If God put me in your life, it's for a reason. One moment could change your life or it could stay the same, right? The choice is yours. What you get out of this is what you're putting into it. The effort that you're putting into it. So when I tell you, yo, go read Rembrandt's Enterprise, and you don't go read it, library cards are still free. Last time I checked, I could be wrong. Please correct me. Everybody has access to the internet. You have all kind of technology, Grok, Copilot, DeepSeek R1, Random R1. Siri, Sarah, Alexa. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Claude right now is Claude is the shit. And there's so many other technologies, similar technologies. They're all going for the same thing. What do you do with that? Your choice. You think I'm gonna stop my portfolio because of what you're doing, or what you perceive, or what you think, or what you assume? I own this shopping center, that shopping center, that shopping center, that shopping center, the one on that side, the one on the other side. And I'm drinking a $3 cup of coffee. And I'm on my bike. How much you think that bike is worth? God forgive me. God, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying. Some people, you got to put them in their place. You got to remind them. Success does not come easy. This is not an overnight success story. This is 34 years of doing this. I'm going to show you. Show you what I do. Instructions. Start at page 1. Follow through to chapter 1. Continue to chapter 2. Number 3, repeat the same 2 cycles until you get to the end. Then, number 4, once you finish this one, process everything, go back to the library, find another book, and do it again. When you finish with that book, go back to the library, find another book, and read it again. When you finish with that one, you're going to do the same thing you did with the first 3, 4, 5 books. You do that for 4 or 5 years, and you're out of here. You're going to the future. I guarantee it. You won't even make grilled cheese in your house the same way. You just won't. Careful with the people that make their cheeseburgers how they were made in the 60s and 70s. There's better ways to do it. So now, taking that into consideration, with my experiences with the business partners from the book of Revelation, right? Now, I'm careful. I say, okay, certain things, I have certain people on my team that can handle those things way better than me. So now I get to concentrate on what I'm really good at, right? Let me take my time making this response. So without further ado, this is why I've invited all of you here, because I'm not writing anything down. I'm going to fly off the handlebars. Okay? One of my beautiful wives. This is important. Now, before I pull out the letter and we divest into it, right? I'm going to cut my nails. I'm going to bring you along. If there's one thing that I want to leave everyone with, regardless of what it is, regardless of your purpose here, is that dreams come true. You may not be able to control the economy. You may not be able to control your demographic. You may not be able to control your product or service. You may not be able to control the circumstances. You may not be able to control your challenges, but you can control yourself. You can make the best effort that you can every single day. I thought I was wise 5 years ago. I thought I knew so much. What I've learned in the past 5 hours is priceless. Past 5 days is priceless. Past 5 months is process. Past 5 years are nothing short of a lifetime of wisdom and knowledge. Because I've had to do more with less. And the better I get at that, the more success I achieve every single day. I have a spiritual compass. I'm a religious person. A lot of people are not. So I don't expect you to use that filter and that same belief, understand, and agreement. But if you pay attention, something in the universe that loves you very much is going to give you the hints and the signs in the smallest of things. Did I think I was going to do this today? No. Like I said, I avoided to do an interview probably for a few weeks. Been on social media more than normally, probably a few weeks, and had this letter. I'm going to show you the date on it before we have a discussion because really that's what a master class is going to be based on. This is why I chose this environment. This was all predetermined, premeditated. I wanted to be here. I wanted you to see the people um, cutting the landscaping in my states. I wanted you to see the neighbors. I wanted you to feel the ambiance. I wanted you to drink this water, eat this candy, and drink this coffee. I wanted you to be here as I was cutting my nails. Because even though it took me weeks to prepare to have this master class and discuss these topics, especially the interview part of it, I still feel the same anxiety because I understand the technology that we're going to talk about because I'm at the forefront of it. This entire, um, they call it a white paper in technology. I don't know what you would call it on a different term, but let's just say a letter to the industry. I'm very, very passionate about it because when I responded to my business partner, all I had to say was, you know that I'm responsible for everything that they're talking about, right? Okay, we get that. How do we convey that to the public? And why do we convey that to the public? Because it's important, because all the investment firms are constantly watching. I did a live yesterday in my nephew's business, and we had the owner of the Yankees tuning in. How real is that? How cool is that? Can you imagine what must have been going through the mind of these people just to process the concept that somebody so cool and so powerful and so influential would be interested in what a mere mortal like myself is doing, even if it was only dedicating that time for that client and having that conversation. Remember, one moment you can change your life, but you stay the same. The choice is yours. This is extremely important because what I'm working on has never been done before. Everything I'm doing is historical. That's a realm that I never thought or even fantasized that I would be engaging and interacting in, right? And since the moment that I started making historical events, I never stopped. Very humbling, especially when life throws these little challenges that you don't understand, that you don't agree with, that all you could do is perhaps for some people be reduced to just being able to pray. The only thing I could do was pray and work out and educate myself. That's what I'm going to do. I don't need to force anything. That gave me the ultimate advantage throughout the years not to succumb to whatever industry changes were happening, regardless of what that industry or trade is. My music catalog is only the beginning. Imagine how many other things I'm naturally gifted and talented at that I'm also working on. In a few years, you may buy one of your favorite sports cars, which I'm also in that business and I can sell you anything in the world. But perhaps there will come a time where some of those retail vehicles, high-end, super exotic sports cars, could potentially bear one of my own personal designs. How real is that? How cool is that? You know how many people wish they could be in a position to even think about doing something like that and are unable to? What a gift and an amazing gift from God at that. How can I not thank God for this moment of clarity, this opportunity? How would you assume or expect of me not to recognize what God is clearly showing me? Because that's the reason why you're all here. It's not about a product or a service or industry or trade. It's about me and you. Once I understood that, I knew that I could be selling chicken wings and be successful. Because people are not gonna go buy my chicken wings because of the formula or the recipe or the sauce. They're gonna go buy Brothers Chicken in New Orleans because of me. When we started Brothers, I was the guy in the Mitsubishi 3000 DT VR4 twin turbo all-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, active aero with the VVIS system, like the VTEC system. They call it MyVec now. Driving it with the 6 speed Get Track, pearl white with the red leather interior. That was me. I drove that car from New Orleans to New York in record time, of course, through Mexico. One day, because we're gonna do the run again, I'll tell you a speed record that I established with that car. I was 19. I'm 43 right now. When I did the research, and part of me becoming successful is, I traced all of my DNA, my genome, all the way down to the year 1037. You know how long my family's been on planet Earth that we know of? Since 1037. When I saw that Dan Pena was my uncle, I was not surprised that he was worth $50 billion. Are you surprised? I'm not. Are you impressed? I'm not. That only comes from God, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? One more nail to go. Even if I can delay it for a few seconds to read this letter to you guys publicly, I still feel the jitters, the butterflies, the excitement, the how do I respond to this? What do I think about this? And remember, none of this is scripted. This is off the caco right here. This is my true heart, my true emotions. All my business partners will see this. All my family members, friends, peers, colleagues, business partners, directly, indirectly, their family members, their peers, all these people are going to be tuning in. I had to make sure that I had charge on all of my portable devices to be able to do this. Give me one second. You guys need to follow me. Look at my lawyer. First thing in the morning. That's what I'm talking about. That's my lawyer, Crystal Delgado, Delgado Law Group. This is who I am. You guys need to follow me on LinkedIn. I'm sort of a big deal over there. Kind of, sort of. Little something, something. Give me one quick second. I'm gonna find this letter. Matter of fact, I downloaded the letter, but I wanted to look at the date. Give me one quick second. Let me go into my drive here. Friday, April 24th, my mother's birthday. Okay? Check me out right here, yo. All right. First, we're going to read the letter in its true form. It's only a few pages long. Then we're going to go back segment by segment, page by page, concept by concept, thought by thought. And without further ado, here we go. You could go on LinkedIn, follow Mr. Mauricio Ruiz from the Manager's Playbook on YouTube, the person behind the marvelous talents of Miss Jessie Reyes, shout out to Byron, and countless others, including the greatest of all time, Venom R1, which is this servant of God right here. This letter was sent by Mr. Mark Gillespie. Why I've been watching the sky. One of my advisors would have said, lawnmower affirmation from God right there. Give me 1 second. Let him get through that. When I see our people working so hard, it is such an inspiration. That shit turns on the jets for me. And I'm ready to go travel through time in the universe. 4 days ago, Amazon bought the satellite company that powers my iPhone. The next era of media belongs to whoever owns the orbits, and the music business is about to sleep through it. Last April, I was standing in a field at Coachella when my phone suggested I connect to a satellite. At first, I thought something had broken. I noticed senior Apple people drifting through the weekend for years and wondered if they quietly flipped the switch for the festival so their own handsets could stay connected in the desert. But my phone kept offering it. Milo, my business partner, and I started texting back and forth, each message tagged sent via satellite. Silly novel. Also, as it turned out, the opening of a rabbit hole I'd been falling down for 12 months. The company powering that connector was Global Star. Let's go to my music catalog. Let's go to April 24th of 2025. Give me one quick second. Of course, this is a okay. Okay. 426 and Boca Chica RD came out. So Dios me dio el dembow came out on the 19th. Grateful for Today came out on the 20th. So Boca Chica RD was my album release 426 2025. I'm just going to read to you the intro. First of all, look at the crown in the NFT. Look at my Panengale V4 Super Leggera Tricolore edition. Before it came out, yes, yes, I am certified. Lamborghini Ducati dealer. And Boca Chica had the album plus bonus single, Caribbean NFT, one of 48 million. Bitcoin, Tron, Ethereum. So while this person Mark Gillespie is having this revelation. Not only do I have an album and a single as an NFT on the blockchain where I only process through satellite, Tron, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Just wanted to kind of throw that in there. Let us continue. Shout out to you, Mark Gillespie. Thank you for becoming one of our business partners. The company powering that connection was Global Star, ticker symbol GSAT, a satellite operator most people have never heard of. Venom R1 is an artist you've never heard of. And that's okay because that's always been by design, rookies. Over the last year, I watched the stock creep up, not in a retail meme way, in a slow, almost private way. A handful of us text about it in the background of our actual jobs. Then on April 14th, Amazon announced it was buying the whole thing for 11.6 billion. How real is that? Isn't that cool? I like this realm. I like this world. Artists are still talking about I'm gonna go platinum. All right, let me not be petty. The artistic, creative part of me wants to be an artist and speak on your favorite idols that are worth whatever they claim, right? Apple, which had held a stake, signed a fresh long-term agreement routing iPhone satellite services through Amazon Leo. One transaction and a small stock I've been watching since a field in the desert have been absorbed into the largest cloud company on earth, with the largest consumer hardware company on earth quietly riding shotgun. That's not a tech story, that's a media story. And that's one I've been trying to tell a few friends about all year. So, again, Mark Gillespie, let's talk about the entrepreneur spirit and the entrepreneur journey following your vision. So, for a whole year, mind you, he's a baby in front of what we're doing. Oh my God, this is the technology. Yo, this is going to change satellite. Yo, Web3, blockchain, da, 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 Bitcoin, NFTs. Everybody's like, yeah, 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 whatever. Yeah, yeah, whatever. Oh, this guy's crazy. This guy flew off the handlebars a long time ago. Now that the company goes for 11.6 billion, now it's important to you. Now you care. Now, thumbs up. Why should you care now is the most important question. Not because of the value. What does that say about the people around Mark Gillespie? Let us continue. The pattern that hasn't changed in 100 years. I've spent the last 20 years managing artists. Calvin Harris, Kid Cudi, Muse, previously Frank Ocean, and Travis Scott. And the long version of the conversation I have in my head about the music business is very short. Let's take a pause right there. Mark Gillespie does not want to waste any more time. Nothing to talk about. He gave you the list. He told you who he is, what he's doing, what his perspective is. Already, page one, done. For my business students, your pitch decks. This is a perfect prime example. Whoever builds the hardware owns the format. Whoever owns the format owns the economics, hardware, software. I apologize to those of you that think this is just rhymes and beats. God, forgive me, I didn't mean it that way. All right, all right. Got to be professional. I have a lot of business funds. Okay. Shout out to all my business partners. I promise I would contain myself. I got you. This is the energy I need. Go back a century. The gramophone wasn't a music business. It was a hardware business that happened to need music. For example, when the television came out, there was a need to create programs so you could watch it because you got the TV, right? Record players, then tapes, then CDs, then the iPod. Sony owned the electronics and the label in the same building. It's not an accident that Michael Jackson signed to the hardware company in this era or in his era. I have mixed views about that. You know, I'm one of his artists. Wrote every single format change to a level no one else reached. So let's not throw salt or sugarcoat the situation. Michael Jackson comes at an era where all these changes are happening, and he's writing every single way. It's vinyls, it's vinyls. It's beta, it's beta. It's uh, digital audio tapes, that is that. It's CDs, it's mini discs, it's Blu-ray, it's whatever it is. It's streaming, it's ringtones. He's a part of all of it. So not to discredit him, all of his record sales incomplete in total, in their totality, is few decamillion in this format, few decamillion in that format, few decamillion in that format. It's like, all right, Michael Jackson in this sense, he's like Magic Johnson. Junior high school championship, college championship, NBA championship, first year out. No matter what format you put him in, he was the first in his first year to win triple crowns all throughout. That's why Magic Johnson is the real MJ and the greatest of all time next to Cole. Let's go. Michael Jordan is not even allowed in that conversation. Do not waste your time with me. It's not an accident that Michael Jackson signed to the hardware company of his era, wrote every single format change to a level no one else reached. Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous. Those weren't just albums. They were brilliant audio demos for a stack of devices Sony was also selling. Just like when you bought the Game Boy and it came with Tetris, you still wanted Super Mario, you still wanted the Ninja Turtles, you still wanted Spider Man, to name a few. What he's giving you is a glimpse of how things were during his 20-year tenure, which is a double tenure, and reflecting beyond that 20 years prior to when Michael Jackson comes into the world and into this Sony field, which Sony wasn't just selling you the hardware, they had the artists to funnel the system through. What do you think my approach is? Let's start the clock. I'll let you guys think about that one. Extra credit for those who can answer properly. When the CD collapsed and Napster ate downloads, the value of music didn't evaporate, it migrated. Sony was still selling laptops, speakers, blank discs, hi-fis, Walkmans. The music didn't get less valuable. The distribution layer changed. And the people who owned the distribution layer captured the shift. The iPod, not Napster, not Warner, is what saved recorded music. And then streaming arrived. And for a brief, strange moment, music was actually ahead of Hollywood, of TV, of gaming. We dragged the entire world into subscription media. We figured out SVOD before anyone called it SVOD. VOD. That was then. The moment we had the leverage and handed it back. Let me pause you right there, Mark Gillespie. I took it all back, baby. August 25th, 2021. 200 million NFTs with my entire music catalog. Historical, world, Guinness, Book of Records, Destroyer. This servant of God. This servant of God. This is the guy. That's the guy. This is the guy that did that. It was me. It is me. It's always going to be me. You can't fake it on the blockchain. You can never take away all of my accolades. Regardless of your thoughts, your perspective, what you think, what you assume, what you perceive, what you thought, what you heard, what they told you, what you thought about it doesn't matter. You can't fake it on the blockchain, sir. In 2015, when Jimmy Iovine and Larry Jackson brought Beats inside Apple, and Apple Music started competing with Spotify for subscribers, I worked on two deals that mattered. One of Travis Scott's albums went exclusively through Apple, which gave him his first big US number one. Duh. I got the world's fastest car, best engine, best transmission, best computer, best differential, best suspension, best active aero, best construction, carbon fiber monocoque, all aluminum magnesium construction. Now I'm going to put it in La fucking Reta de Asua in Dominican Republic. What do you think the car is going to do? Is it going to break the records? Give me the Yang Wang, the U7, 3,000 horsepower, the S edition. What do you think I'm going to do? I am that Remac Navarro type bar going down that straightaway. And one for Frank Ocean. Apple's problem was simple. They needed subscribers. And hip hop and alternative music was the youth engine of that moment. And they were willing to pay real money to anyone who could move the needle. I'm not here to move the needle, Mr. Mark Gillespie. I rewrote the whole universe, the whole existence of time, everything. Me, is me, by the grace of God. God appointed me. You're going to be that person. For about 6 months, it looked like music was going to invent the blueprint that Hollywood is now running. Premium content. All my music is premium. All my NFTs are premium. When you listen to my music, every song is an NFT. Every EP, every album, every mixtape, every compilation, every double album, every triple album. When you're listening to my music, you're listening to the master recording. And I'm giving you the software, the program to play it at its optimal capacity in every single one. So every master of mine has a master recording and a master player to play that master recording. So you can get the master sound. When you hear it, my music doesn't sound like pancakes, which is what you get on streaming. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for the gift and the honor to carry the honor. Okay? For about 6 months, it looked like music was going to invent the blueprint that Hollywood is now running. Premium content, windowed, meaning enclosed, exclusively, paid for by platforms competing for subscribers. It worked. Those careers compounded at a speed they couldn't have under legacy label economics alone. Then the majors decided exclusives were bad for the marketplace and pulled the plug. Because the labels have the power to do so. They own the masters. Who owns his own masters? Who owns his entire catalog? I own my entire catalog. I just released last week 15 albums in a day. That's another world record. I did that less than a week ago because I own my catalog. I could release 20 albums today if I wanted to. In fact, I may release 24 albums today just to have another world Guinness record. Watch me. Then the majors decided exclusives were bad for the marketplace and pulled the plug. The logic at the time, Spotify needed building. Piracy was the real enemy. And a fragmented listener who paid for nothing was worse than a single subscription listener who paid for one service. That was probably the right call then, according to Mark Gillespie. It is very clear, or it is very clearly the wrong call now. Thank you, Mr. Mark Gillespie. Welcome back to our team. This is why we do what we do. We're mavericks, we're pioneers, we're visionaries. We're not here to settle for the status quo. We're at the end of the streaming cycle. Yes, you've been robbing artists. Well, not you, Mr. Mark Gillespie, but the labels, paying them 0.32 of a penny and paying them $1 for 400 streams and pocketing $799. In a lot of my master classes, I've broken down the economics so every artist know that for every dollar they gave you, they owe you $799. But don't worry, I have the technology to even out the score. I got you. Spotify has roughly as many subscribers as Netflix. No shit, Sherlock. Okay, cool. That's the line I want everyone reading this to sit with. You know what that means? Building it up to try to what? Try to compete with Netflix. Now that I can't share publicly because that is intellectual property. But trust me, I'm all over it. I'm all on top of it. I'm the reason for that. I'm the reason why they had to change all the contracts and take away this technology so that artists, huge artists, wouldn't smart enough, buy their masters, and then direct to consumer. That's the line I want everyone reading this to sit with. The global premium music subscriber base is now at parity with the global premium video subscriber base. That doesn't mean the market is dead. It means the market is saturated. I disagree. And the easy growth of the last decade is over. That I agree with. When a subscription market saturates, one of two things happens. Either the platforms consolidate and the economics trend downward for creators, which is bad, or a new layer of distribution appears and the platform start competing again for the premium content that differentiates them, which is good. Let's highlight that part. Or a new layer of distribution appears. I want you all to say, thank you, God, you're so amazing to me. I have 10,000 songs in my catalog. I have 10,000 collaborations. I am the underground. Nobody has done more for music than me. It didn't matter if the producer or the artist had one follower, one beat, one project that they worked on. I put them all. They're all part of my catalog. They're my business partner. Who owns the biggest record label on planet Earth right now? This servant of God. What do you think I'm going to, first of all, what do you think I offered all of those artists and producers, etc.? Who has the new distribution platform? This servant of God. What do you think? After I saved them from the apocalypse, you think they're not going to ride with me to the heavenly realm? Of course they are. They're in the history books forever. All eternity, they're going to be a part of my catalog, and I'm going to be a part of theirs. Who are they going to trust? The record labels? The investment firms? The consultants? No. They're going to trust me. I'm an artist just like them. I started just like them. I only put in 24 to 34 years of hard work. That's it. That's all it took for me to reach my dreams. For me to be able to sell $75 million Ferraris and $68 million Ferraris and $48 million Ferraris and $37 million Ferraris and $24 million Ferraris and $19 million Ferraris and $14 million Maseratis and $8 million Ferraris and Lamborghinis like it's water. All it took me was 34 years. Everything you see, all mine. Where are the new artists going to go? After they see what I've done for this collective of God's chosen to come with me on Noah's Ark. They're going to go to you, not you, Mark Gillespie, I'm saying in general. They're going to go through every other avenue that every time that the creators have a little bit of leverage, they go and cut the foundation from under them. Or they're going to go to the person that has been consistently there with them, that built with them while I was building my own stuff. Now we put it together and I'm like, come on, we still got work to do. Thank you for this introduction. This is the best pitch deck, okay, for my company. Executive decision right now. It is 9:49, April 28th. This is our pitch deck. Who better than Mark Gillespie to lay the alley like Shaquille O'Neal? Here I come like Kobe. Kobe for three. And the three-pointer is good. Kobe, rebound, windmill. Kobe over the entire with the foul shot. Kobe Bryant. Kobe. +2. The other platforms are going to consolidate because in their false way of thinking, they're going to think that by consolidating, they're going to be able to compete. It's okay. We got BlackRock, Blackstone. We got you. We finance the financial institutions that finance them. And we're at the forefront of the technology. This is why we're not here to play any games. This is why we don't care about Live Nation, Rock Nation, and Jay-Z, and Madison Square Garden, and the 10th and the 11th from Reasonable Doubt in the Blueprint. We don't got time for that shit. But shout out to you, Sean Corey. Shout out to all of y'all. Game over. I'm sorry, God. I don't mean it like that. But some people, you got to let them know. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when the company is listed for $11.6 billion. Don't be. Mark Gillespie just told you this 4 days ago. 4 days ago. This is from the 24th. This on my platform is from the 24th. This is as fresh out of the oven as I can give it to you. Here it is. Imagine what's going to happen in the next 5 months. Let's keep going. Premium content. How premium is that? I searched the entire universe. I went through the whole globe and I cherry picked over 10,000 people. Come on, we're going to work. Let's go do this. Come on, let's build. Building here. Let's build here. Let's build here. Let's build here. Now, oh man, got the battle armor, got my sword and my shield, got my horses. Here I go. Competition for premium content, which is good. Quote by Mark Gillespie, April 24, 2026. If you happen to own the premium content, guess what, Mark Gillespie? I own everything. Everything. I own everything. Everything. You understand that? Everything. I own everything. I'm still going. I'm never going to stop. No matter what. never going to stop. I'm never going to stop. My music lives forever, forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. 10,000 songs, you're gonna like one. You're gonna like one album. You're gonna like a series. You may like a few. You may like a dozen. Maybe you like 2 dozens. Out of 1,001 plus albums, you're probably gonna like 5, 6 dozen of them. You got plenty of choice, plenty of range. There's no discussing my skills and my ability. I told you I wasn't a rapper. I just own a technology company. I just happen to know how to rap for the hip hop heads. Now let me go back to corporate America. I can't rock with y'all right now because we're talking technology. We're talking $11.6 billion right now. This is Mark Gillespie. This is not a game. We're not here playing games. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to do business. You can hit me up on my neck, by the way. Shout out to Patrick Bet-David, Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David Podcast, the New York Yankees, the New York Mets, which I'm in the process of buying, Gary Vaynerchuk, the New York Jets, B Friends, whatnot, Vayner Media, Vayner X, Vayner Consulting, Patrick Bet-David Consulting, BlackRock Blackstone, NVIDIA, Crystal Delgado, Mauricio Ruiz, Ray Daniels, Casey Graham, Wendy Bay. List goes on and on and on and on. And it's only going to get bigger. Shout out to Mark Cuban. Shout out to Arlen Hamilton. Shout out to Manny Cashman. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather Jr., to name a few. But let us continue. Let's stay focused here. We have to stay focused. Okay, I have a huge family that depends on me. Millions and millions of dollars that need to go to churches and charities that are my responsibility. See, I separated myself from my estate. Everybody's in the trust fund. Everybody's in the pension fund. My granddaughter, Nolani, is the owner of the company. It's an amazing thing. You saw that light went on its own. Confirmation from God, right? According to my advisors. Look up. That new layer is arriving. No, Mr. Mark Gillespie, let me instruct you. I've been built it. It hasn't arrived. It's already here. It's proven over and over and over again. News to you guys, but you know, my team already knows. Shout out to Mauricio Ruiz and Miss Crystal Delgado, top music attorney, my lawyer. Miss Crystal, she's an artist as well. Amazing. Wait till you see a few of our albums. You're going to see. That's on the way, baby. What's actually happening above our heads? Here's the map as of this month. Happening over their heads because they haven't been part of this technology since the beginning of everything that we're talking about. Lyrically, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto. So let us continue. Amazon plus Apple. By the way, I had a label deal with Apple since 2022, 2021, 2022. So we're going on our, I think, 4th revision. Oh, guess what? Renegotiation time is coming up, baby. We're going to ask for a lot more cheeseburgers. It's only $225 million to speak to me on my neck right now. That's it. The prices won't go up for about another day. Tomorrow, prices are going up. Let's go. Amazon plus Apple. Bezos just bought GSAT. Apple, instead of building its own constellation, signed a long-term deal to route iPhone satellite services through Amazon Leo. Bezos already owns MGM, Prime Video, Amazon Music, Twitch, and a rocket company called Blue Origin, Blue Horizon, right? He now owns a spectrum-rich satellite operator and a direct pipe into the most valuable device on Earth. Really? Really, right? Oh, man. God is amazing. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for all the blessings in our lives. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for all the blessings in our lives. We worry not about what we don't have because we're in the process of getting it. And in that journey, everything that we do is in your name. Amen. Amen. A spectrum-rich satellite operator and a direct pipe into the most valuable device on Earth. Really? Guess who has partnerships with Nvidia, Huawei, Xiaomi, Tencent, Apple, Samsung. We could keep going. Motorola. Yo, y'all not ready, yo. That's not a coincidence, really. I know, I agree. On our perspective, none of this is by coincidence. Only God could have given me this opportunity. Or if it is, according to Mark Gillespie, it's one of the most valuable coincidences in corporate history. This is the most valuable coincidence in life, religion, time travel, spectrum, entertainment, music. The list goes on and on. I got Hot Wheels. I got my own video game system. I got my own smartphone. I got my own clothing line. There's so many verticals, horizontals. I lose count. Only by the grace of God. Only by the grace of God. The underdog. I'm the poorest person from my neighborhood, the poorest person from my village back home. Me. How lucky am I? How blessed am I that God would give me the opportunity and to bring all these wonderful, amazing, only God's people on my team. Just only God's people on my team. That's it. I ride with God all the way. Not even in my demo, Jay-Z, would I dare to say something like, I don't believe in God. But that's for another one. Let's continue to go. Shout out to Crystal Delgado, Mauricio Ruiz, Ray Daniels, Casey Graham, um, Brandman Sean from No Labels Necessary. And if I left anybody out, I love you guys. You guys all know who you are. Oh, shout out to Kim Kardashian and the whole Kardashian family. Thank you for being another one of our business partners. Let us continue. Elon plus the Ellisons. Ellisons? Time out, time out, time out. We know this movie. Who are the Ellisons? Are we talking about Larry Ellison? Are we talking about their son? Are we talking about Skydance Paramount? Are we talking about Discovery Warner Brothers? Are we talking about the merger that Netflix just lost? Are we talking about the the $900 million that I asked them for, where the bid went over $1 billion in 2023, where they took a loss for $5 billion and only made back 780 million? That puts them in a deficit of $4.2 billion, which is why the company went into consolidation. I'm the person that is in charge in the center of all of that. So I know we're not talking about the same Elon Musk from Starlink and from Tesla and Solar City, right? We're not talking about the same company that I am a business partner with my Radar Plex systems, which power your Tesla autopilot, and Radar Plex destroys autopilot. Autopilot is a toy in front of Radar Plex, but that's for another conversation. You guys don't have the government clearance for us to have that discussion. Just another technology that I just so happen to own. I know we're not talking about the same Larry Ellison and the same Skydance Paramount and the same Discovery Warner Brothers. That cannot be the same company. This can't be the same artist. That's an impossibility, right? Let's read to find out, Mr. Mark Gillespie. Let us continue. Starlink has quietly installed itself in airline cabins. Really? I happen to have a lot of business partners in aviation. So shout out to Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, to name a few. Struck a direct to sell deal with Virgin Media. Wait a minute. Branson? Richard Branson? Are we talking about Richard Branson? The Richard Branson? Another one of my business partners? It might be the same guy. I think that's the Virgin. Let's see. Media O2 in the UK. Okay. That went live this year. So this already happened. Okay, this already happened. And it's signing equivalent partnerships globally. Rihi Healy. Guess who's opening up a gigafactory in the Dominican Republic? NVIDIA. Business partners. Only by the grace of God. Shout out to Jensen Huang. Shout out to Tencent. Shout out to Huawei. Thank you for doing business. Thank you for becoming part of our team. Larry Ellison, Oracle's chairman, another business partnership. The Trump family, another proposal that we got directly from the Trump family. Oh, you're not ready for that. No, no, no. We're not going to discuss that today. We're going to stick it to this. We're going to make it as small as your mind is. Okay, we're going to reduce it down to this side. That's why I had to cut my nails so you can see the edge of my nails. Larry Ellison, Oracle's chairman, one of Elon's largest backers, now leads the consortium that owns TikTok USA. I just may be the Green Ranger overseas. That may be one of the songs in my catalog, but we'll leave that for another conversation. TikTok, Tencent could own it, or they have to divide it. Okay, TikTok USA, we'll take that. You guys want to be business partners? Let's do it. His son David controls Paramount. Wait a minute, this might be the same Paramount Skydance merger, just like Warner Brothers Discovery, just like Oracle, just like the Trump family, all together in this deal that Netflix just lost, that we were just talking about. I think it's the same people. And I'm the artist that was in the center of those negotiations. I'm the artist that said $400 million is not enough. The prices are going to go up. Just to talk to me on my neck is $225 million as of today. Tomorrow the prices go up. Let's see how much they go up to. I have to call Ramiolis and get her signature. You guys will find out tomorrow. His daughter Megan runs Annapurna. Oh, more business partners. Yes, welcome, welcome. We can do business. We already know that other platforms are going to try to consolidate, so let's form Voltron. Then I could change my artist name from Venom R1 to Voltron R1. That's what's going to happen after the auction. But let us keep going. If you were sketching now, I'm a designer as well, drawing, a media plus distribution combine to rival what Rupert Murdoch built with Sky in the 1990s. You wouldn't have to squint very hard. See, once you put the future glasses on, you can't take them off. But you could think, believe, perceive, process, whatever you like. Google started with internet balloons, pivoted to lasers. Guess what technology Radarplex always implemented that autopilot in Tesla and Solar City and Elon Musk and Starlink declined and then were forced to use in the markets of Asia, which is now through the Alexander and Xavier system, the NVIDIA processor is now in every Tesla. What technology does it have? Photon projection, lasers. Who's the expert laser engineer? Who owns Radarplex? This servant of God right here. Did they just say lasers? Let's read back to make sure that we didn't mispronounce what they said. Okay, Google started with internet balloons, pivoted to lasers, right? No. Pivoted to lasers. Somewhere in the race, not winning it yet. They will end up buying or partnering their way in. Guess what, Google? If you can't buy in, we can always become partners. Come on down. The music companies. Sony, Warner Brothers, Universal. I'm here on behalf of BlackRock Blackstone. We don't speak that language. We don't speak Sony, Warner Brothers, or Universal. Every other content vertical, film, television, sports, games, long-form audio is already selling premium exclusives to these platforms to drive subscriber growth. After my catalog becomes public domain, everybody's talking about catalogs. Everything is catalog. You have the rise of hypnosis. Who buys hypnosis? Blackstone. What did you think? BlackRock, we were just gonna stay. All right, let's just stay like this. Never gonna happen. What everybody was anticipating that BlackRock will be doing, I'm the person in charge of that. This is the person. This servant of God right here, coming to you live, is the person in charge of all of that. Not a portion of it, not a percentage of it, the whole thing. Everything, right here, palm of my hands. Film, television, is that not what Irv Gotti did with his catalog to leverage $100 million line of credit? What do you think is going to happen with my 10,000 songs? That's 10,000 movies, 10,000 video games, 10,000 books, 10,000 comic books, 10,000 different avenues and revenue streams for products and services, different kind of merchandise, different kind of technology. Just 10,000 to start. Plus, I'm going to bring in another 100, 200 million. Can everybody say, thank you, Heavenly Father, for me? Film, television, sports games, long form audio, and don't forget series. Everybody's streaming series. That's the big thing. Cool. We are the last vertical that isn't, because he didn't know that we already had hired him and brought him into our corporate structure. And once again, thank you to Mauricio Ruiz for making that happen. And once again, thank you to you, Mark Gillespie, for all your hard work. We are the last vertical that isn't. It's the cable plus media wave of the 1990s happening again. Rehealing in fast forward. And the music business is standing on the beach, arguing about playlists, placements, and chasing data-driven A&R. I don't have that problem, Mr. Mark Gillespie. I'm at the forefront of all this technology. If you guys can't understand it now, if you couldn't understand it 12 months ago, you wouldn't have understood it 15, 20, 35, 34 years ago. So I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you. You either understand what I'm talking about or you're wasting your time. Because this is not entertainment. I'm only here to do business. That's the only reason why I'm here. I have no other reason to be here. If it's not business, not technology, not financial, not interested. Don't have time for it. I have grandkids. This is premium content. A prediction and the call. Quoting Mr. Mark Gillespie. Within 3 to 5 years, a serious chunk of your broadband is going to come off a satellite. Yeah? Okay. Your phone is already starting to. The data centers that power the AI you use daily. will begin moving to orbit because the latency is better and the physics are better. Connectivity and content are going to fuse back together. Really? Really? What a surprise. What a surprise, right? The way they were in the cable era. And the companies that own both will own the next cycle. I own the next cycle, sir. And all the cycles to follow. Amazon, Starlink, and the Ellisons. Apple via Amazon. Google. 4 players, possibly 3. No, 1 player. Me. Ready Player 1. Please insert coin. Bitcoin. Gasoline. Smoke. When that happens, every single one of them will need premium content to sell subscriptions. Exactly the moment Apple faced in 2015. Exactly the moment the cable companies faced in 1995. In the music business, if it's paying attention, will have its first real window of leverage in a decade. So I've been carrying this whole stuff for a nice little bit of time, right? So here is the operator's point. It's time to start selling exclusives again. For real, my entire catalog is all exclusives. If Apple can spend a few $100 million a year on a Tom Hanks movie, they can spend 10 to 20 million on the biggest album of the year and pull a full marketing campaign behind it. Mark Gillespie, I don't speak that language. That 100 million, I don't understand that language. I don't speak that language. I'm not fluent in 10 to 20 million. I don't speak that language. I was very, very young when I spoke that language. Probably 7, 8 years old. I'm 43 right now. I'll be 44 October 17, 2026. If Amazon can bid for Bond, they can bid for Calvin and a Calvin Harris album, a Kid Cudi album, a Muse record. These numbers are rounding errors on the satellite capex these companies are about to announce. Wouldn't they like to do that? The artists win because an album becomes a cultural event again instead of a Monday playlist drop. The platforms win because they get the differentiated content they actually need to sell the next subscription tier. The labels win because premium pricing returns to a market that has been racing to zero for 15 years. And the format becomes important again, which is how you get the next Michael Jackson. You're speaking to the next Michael Jackson. Oh man. Holla. The next Drake. Holla. The next Travis. Holla. The next Adele. Holla. Megastars do not emerge from saturated, monopoly adjacent markets. They emerge from the brief, beautiful windows when platforms compete for them. Thank you for competing for my catalog. Today is only $225 million, so speak to me on my neck. Tomorrow it could be as high as 777 million. That's a bargain. Make the phone call, my neck. Get it out the way. I have to pay my taxes for next year. Taxes for this year fully paid. Why I'm writing this now? Quote from the man himself, the myth, the legend, Mark Gillespie. I didn't start watching satellite companies because I'm a tech investor. Well, I am, Mr. Mark Gillespie. I'm also a tech maverick and a tech pioneer. Confirmation, noise. You see how these tremors, all this energy, is just being magnetized, pulled for me. It's going to be the same with the catalog and the company and the apps and the investments, everything, everything. You got it. In baseball, we call those grand slam home runs. I didn't start watching satellite companies because I'm a tech investor. I started watching them because 25 years ago, I handed out nightclub flyers in the Midlands for a small company that eventually built one of the UK's first dance message boards. And then, while white labeled internet services providers onto the front of clubbing magazines, I learned then that the infrastructure layer always moves before the cultural layer does. Duh, Mr. Mark Gillespie. And the people who notice the infrastructure first get to price the culture that rides on top of it. It's the same reason I ended up working with Calvin off of MySpace. Not because I loved MySpace, but because the people who made music out of computers were always going to live on the platforms made by the computers. That's what's happening now, according to Mr. Mark Gillespie. The infrastructure is moving. Bezos and Musk are not building rockets as a hobby. Neither did I, give you 1,000 plus albums, 10,000 plus collaborations, 10,000 plus songs for my killer, handsome, good looks or my beautiful blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? Ellison is not assembling a media empire around his children for fun. Apple didn't just sign a 10-year deal with Amazon because they like the PowerPoint. It's only 11.6 billion. 11.6 billion for 10 years? Jay-Z has to renegotiate. He has one more year after his retirement party with Live Nation and Ticketmasters for Rock Nation on behalf of Rock Nation artists and title artists that got consolidated to uh, Twitter, Jack Dorsey. He has 200 something songs in his catalog. I have 10,000. How much you think I'm going to ask for? How real is that? How cool is that? Apple didn't just sign this 10-year deal, right? So the music business has been behind the curve for about 5 years. Guess who has been breaking all the world Guinness records in music for the last 5 years? Best kept secret, baby. But thank you for acknowledging all of my hard work, Mr. Mark Gillespie. I greatly appreciate you as being a part of our company. That's the first time in my career, according to Mark Gillespie, I can say that out loud. The music business has been behind the curve for 5 years. Thank you very much. I've been working very hard to destroy all of these companies. Mission accomplished. We led streaming, where I would say they led streaming, which is garbage. We led subscription media, where I would say they led subscription uh, and media. According to him, we led digital marketing, or I would say they led in digital marketing. And then, according to him, we lost direction at the exact moment the board reset, or I would say they lost direction at the exact moment of the board reset. I'm the person that pressed reset on the Nintendo. That was me. And remember, at the time, Nintendo only came with two controllers and the blaster for Duck Hunt, right? Some people bought the special edition Duck Hunt Mario 1, right? The next cycle is being built above our heads. I already built it. You're late. By four companies. No, mine is just one. But I do, have partnerships with all the other ones. With our product, nowhere in their strategy decks. Just with BlackRock, Blackstone, I have all the banks that finance all these companies, and we're at the forefront of everything. So this is a non-negotiable. That's like me giving you the Big Mac sauce. Never gonna happen, Captain. All right. Next cycle is being built above their heads, or by four companies with our product, nowhere in their strategy decks. No, that was the whole point. We started this to win. We didn't play for cool points. We did this to be where we are today, and over the next few weeks, few months, we'll let the historians tell it. That changes the moment the first major album is windowed exclusively through one of them. I quite like it to be one of ours. No, it's gonna be my album. It's gonna be my everything. God wins. And I leave you with that. Have an amazing day today. May you conquer everything in your path. May everything that you touch turn into solid gold bars and silver bars and beautiful and precious gemstones such as moissanite or laboratory grown diamonds or any laboratory grown gem. Always remember to dream big because dreams come true. It happened to me, and I know for a fact it's going to happen to you. We'll see you on the next one. Shout out to all my business partners, all my family members, all my peers, all my friends, my colleagues, directly and indirectly, all of my fans, of course, all my beautiful children, all my beautiful wives. Thank you so much, Heavenly Father. And now, let's do it all over again. We'll be in my office in a little bit. I'm going to go check on my churches and charities, and we'll be right back. Thank you so much for your time. God bless. Special thanks to Crystal Delgado, Ray Daniels, Casey Graham, Mauricio Ruiz, um, Miss Debbie. I'm trying to think who else. Of course, Patrick Bet David, and we'll pick it up from there. Shout out to Skydance, Paramount, Discovery, Warner Brothers, Huawei, Samsung, Apple, Xiaomi, Tencent, Nvidia. Shout out to everybody that is part of this project. Shout out to BandLab. We'll give you public service. Ali, but Mark Gillespie, this is going to be on the pitch deck, on the business plan, and the proposal. And I thank you so very much. It's 4 days old today, so attention to my team. Hopefully, within the next 21 days, we'll capitalize on this. So every capital venture firm that I'm going to meet with, starting probably in about 30 minutes, would include this in the pitch deck. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rip the audio and send it to them directly as an MP3, MP4 file. And for the investors, we'll send it as a wave so they get the full dynamic of the sound. Thank you so much. God bless. And dreams come true. And once again, God wins. I'm not going to say what I really want to say after that, but you guys already know. God wins, yo. Fatality, flawless victory.